People were leaving at these firms I was at for like a 5% or 8% raise. And you know why? Because that's the only way they get raises. And then our firms would go and replace them with someone new that couldn't hit the ground running. They were net negative capacity-wise for at least 6 months, if not a whole year. And our firms would pay more for those new people than they would pay the people who left. And my thought was like, well, why didn't you just pay them that much? And I would bring that up to the partners, and they would look at me and just laugh.
Welcome to this episode of the Hidden Money Podcast. Hopefully you had a good 4th of July celebration, 250 years as a country, and what a better way to celebrate than talk tax.
Heck
but
yeah.
Today, we're not going to be talking your normal tax. We're actually going to be talking about what it's like working at Revo and why we are looking for good, talented CPAs, and not your just average CPA. We're going to get into what we're looking for specifically, but we just want to talk about our firm as a whole and what we're looking for.
But a great segue to this is we just celebrated our 250th anniversary as a country. Did you know when we started off, there was no such thing as income tax?
No.
Did you know in the original United States Constitution, which wasn't adopted on July 4th, 1776, it was actually adopted in 1789, do you know that it said it was illegal and unconstitutional to levy taxes on income?
This is almost like the whole reason why we kind of went away from the European countries.
It is. We didn't like the idea
Who would've
of
thought?
taxation without representation. So we fought a revolution over that
Like
concept.
a Revo? If short, you can call it a Revo.
We did. We fought a Revo over that, and we won. And England lost.
Yes.
And they tried to beat us again in the War of 1812. And, well, they did burn the White House down a little bit, but we're standing. And somehow the mindset of it being okay to tax incomes, which happened in 1913. So that would be a lot of years, 150 years afterwards. So we were the constitutional republic that we wanted to be and our founders wanted without taxing income for nearly 150 years. So this
But
is,
now here we are.
and I think that speaks to what is different about Revo, right? Like, we're trying to revolutionize the way you see tax. We can't get rid of the income tax, although if we could, we would. There's so many better ways to do it. We can't do that. But we can utilize the tax code and teach you to have a revolutionary concept and idea of the tax code because it can be a great asset, a wealth building tool. And we're looking for people like that to join our firm.
And we've had time and time again when we get feedback from clients, they're like, this is stuff I should have known 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I am in my 60s. I could have been implementing these things for 20 years and been so much far along. But we need people. So because there's such a need in the marketplace, like we are working hard to find talent. And we have interviewed, and we have like a 3-4 process interview because we do not just want to hire somebody who's, hey, I just got laid off, here's my resume, hired, stamp. That is not what we're looking for. We are looking for people who are like-minded. We have a core value system internally, and you know most corporations have core value and it's corporate speak, and I've always thought that until you actually own your own business, you're like, wow, we really do need a set of core values because everything is governed through this vision of Revo is our core values. REVO, relationship, that is number one, relationship with the client. If you are out there and you love communicating, if you love working with people, now taxes are a desk job, you're not going to be out and about, you know, every day out into the marketplace doing, you know, communicating with the open public, but having a client list saying, here's your 100 clients. I want them to, each one of these clients to feel like they're your only client. If that is something you're passionate about, people, then
And
that
having
is,
the relationship where you care about them and you want to help change their lives, because we get to do that at Revo.
Yeah.
I mean, most CPA firms, you do taxes. You sit behind a desk. We have clients, and check out our Google reviews. Check out, we had a couple clients we've interviewed recently in some of the podcasts. We can help change people's life for the better. And that's relationship. And if you're someone who wants that out of your vocation, it's not boring. I mean, there's boring parts, but you can love this. You can have a passion for it. We want people to have a passion for it.
Yeah. And relationships, what sets us apart too, because a lot of CPAs are just paper pushers who prep tax returns. And that's one of the most common things we hear from our clients. They come in, they're like, I just can't even get a hold of my CPA. He doesn't talk to me. I have no idea. And man, let's just talk. And we have specific plans for our clients that are on that and believe that. But we need people who are willing to step into that and pick up a phone, Zoom. Well, most everything's done by Zoom these days just because it's recorded, you can transcribe, all that stuff. So if that is you and you are open to having more of a relationship with your clients and not just, a spouse married with kids on a page that you just see their name every year, actually get to know them, then Revo could be a great place for you. The second core value we have is excellence. So excellence just says we want to be the best at what we do. And that is why it's the second one, is we want to beat our competition. We want to see when we review clients' prior returns, we're not just reviewing for compliance. Like, yeah, you're in compliance, you filed, everything appears right. What are they missing? How do you excel at tax planning? How do you excel at doing something differently? And if that resonates with you too, this could be a good firm.
Absolutely. So Revo, we got through the R, we went through the E. V is a big, big part for us, values. It goes along with all the other ones that we're discussing. So values is important. We do this for the right reason. We do this because we care, but we don't break the rule. We don't do anything immoral or illegal. Sometimes there's rules meant to be broken, and as long as we can find a legal avenue to do it, we ought to talk about it. But values is super important. It's not just values that we show towards our clients, it's values that we show towards each other as a team member, right? We're family. We need to work together. We need to enjoy working together. And if we're not enjoying it and we're not feeding off of each other and helping and passion each other to serve our clients well, to work with excellence, to have relationships, and if we're not having relationships with each other with high values, it's not going to work. But values is super important. And a big value of Revo is helping clients take back what is rightfully theirs. Taxpayers pay too much in taxes more often than not. Yeah. Our value is stop that. Our value is get back to the revolution of 1776 and the original Constitution of 1789 and not pay income taxes. Well, we have to pay now, but don't overpay them.
That's right. Pack your musket down. Go to work. So it's good stuff. And we just hired 2 people, and these are organic hires, growths. It's just growth. We haven't had anyone leave in probably 2 years. So our team is happy. We have a really good foundation of a team here. And now we're ready to dump fuel on that because we have our processes, we got our management team, we got everything in place. Now we just need more soldiers. And that's why, our interview process was extensive for these people that we hired, but we had at least 3 rounds of interviews, and then we're like, okay, you're going to come in office, and you're going to have lunch with us, because twice a week we have lunch in our office together as a team. We just stop work for an hour and a half, and we sit and eat. How's your we just talk. Yes. It's relationship with your team and your coworkers, and they just join lunch and do the jive with the team. We do not want a disruptor coming in and being this, disruptor to the team and ruining our culture. We have a super unique culture that I've never seen. So, and that's all of us rowing in the same direction. We all see the target that we're aiming at, and we're all going to that direction. So, values is very important. But fourth, I know I already see you smirking. Take number 4. What is O of Revo?
Out of the box. Get out of the box. Get to the outside of the box thinking. This was my greatest detriment and hindrance earlier in my career. You show up at PricewaterhouseCoopers as an intern in 2000 and you want to think outside the box, you're going to get slammed right back in the box or let go. I mean, you're supposed to think inside the box. Just about every other CPA firm I worked for, even up to the ranks of manager and senior manager, I would get in trouble for doing things differently, for challenging the way we did things if it didn't make sense. For challenging the way we were interpreting tax law because it's been done that way for years and years and years. That's not who we're looking for, and that's hard to find in CPAs and in tax specialists. I mean, I think that's why when we're hiring, I think we'd have to ask Pippa, but something like 300 or 400 resumes before we actually hire one person, and a whole bunch of interviews before we get narrowed down to that one person to hire.
Pippa Lee, Operations Manager.
Hey, Pippa, what's one of your favorite memories from your time at Revo so far?
I think probably one summer when we did a boat trip on Lake Louisville, and then we got to do karaoke, and there was a floaty, and if we were able to jump on it and stay standing, we got a half day of PTO. So that was a really fun day. We had plenty to drink and snacks. It was a super fun team event.
That's awesome. Very cool. If someone were to ask you, why should I come work at Revo versus just any other sort of tax place, what would you tell them?
I really think it feels like a family. Everyone here now has been here a long time. I've been here, this is my 6th year. So we have a pretty mature and steady team, and we all know each other. And so that really is a great foundation to build relationships and really to get the work done the way that we want it done. We do feel that our partners really support us in what we do. They've given us the okay to try new things, and if it fails, that's okay. We can try something else. And I think that's the benefit of a smaller company. You can try things, and if it doesn't work out, you change. There's really no red tape here.
We need tax people that love tax, that understand tax, that are good at tax, but they can think outside of the box. And that's just not how schools print them out. That's not how the CPA exam tests you. You're supposed to get in the box to get out of school, right?
Yeah.
So one thing I was thinking, maybe we ought to start looking for college transcripts that shows people barely at the 3.0 instead of the 4.0s, because they're like struggling of getting inside the box. But then we could get some dumb ones.
Then you never know. But yeah, very rarely, I think, do those 4.0s, 4+ GPAs really, they were really kind of rule followers. Or they weren't busy in college, they just studied and didn't work.
Or they're
you need
too
that
smart.
Mix. I was a 3.1 or 3.2 GPA,
Yeah.
so I was low threes.
I was a 2.87 in high school, 2.88 in undergrad, 3.8 in grad school.
You bumped it up.
But that's because
Good
I
work.
figured out how to utilize the tax code and have fun with it and make a difference in people's lives. And I was like, oh yeah, I can do this.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. And our firm, we're based out in Grapevine, Texas. So a lot of this hiring that we're doing is we're looking at in person. We tried the remote hire route.
Wait a second. So
mass
if you
remote hire.
Google us right now, you'll see that our office is still in Roanoke. But just 3 weeks ago, June 15th, we closed on our new home base building in Grapevine.
yeah.
Beautiful office.
So Mike and I purchased our first big commercial property because we're setting up roots. We're like, all right, Revo is it. This is what it is, and we have a nice office. We have a foundation of where to build. It's central to the DFW Metroplex, right off 114 in Texan Trail. So right by
right off
Great Wolf Lodge.
114, 121, 635.
Airport,
It's, yeah.
5 minutes from DFW Airport.
Yeah.
So, but we are currently looking for in-person people because there is a major difference. And we have remote people, but they were local at first.
Yeah.
But the remote staff, it's hard. There's a gap, and the buy-in, the relationship, the training, the people who were remote were not growing as quickly. We're like, man, the people in office are shooting way above
But
our
don't
remote
get us
people.
wrong. It's not like we're stuffy and we think he should be in the office. We want, and all of us work hybrid at the office, just about. There's a few people that insist on coming in the office. We hired a big group of people 4 years ago, all remote.
Like five.
Six, I think. Six. And we couldn't get them trained up because we don't, at most CPA firms, the way that you learn and you get trained and built is they put you on simple, easy tax returns. And the same kind of tax return. Like at PricewaterhouseCoopers, my first internship, it was investment partnerships, big private equity partnerships, and allocations, and you just did the same thing over and over again. In 2 months, I was awesome at just doing that. That's how you get trained, but I could only do that. I didn't know anything about 1040s. At other smaller firms or regional firms, I put you on the easy 1040s where you're just taking W-2s and 1099s. Well, when we bring people into our firm, we don't do those kind of easy stuff. We do hard returns, complicated, because that's where we're adding value. So we brought in all these people completely remote, And they didn't develop a relationship with their peers. They weren't asking people questions. We couldn't figure out how to make that work.
They were in a silo.
We invested so much in communications. Team, did so many we had, remember the online happy hours that we
Yes.
had like every week? And we couldn't figure out how to make it work. So we have realized for people to come and hit the ground running in our firm, we need them in office. And then, like you said, we have a few people now that are fully remote, but that's because they're part of our culture now.
They know. They know
and they
the
had a good
process.
reason.
Hi, I'm Anastasia, also known as Stacy Rousseau. I am the Client Services Advisor for Revo Taxpayer Advocacy.
Can you tell me about one of your favorite memories from your time working at Revo?
Well, I actually want to start by saying how much I really enjoy working at Revo because of the people. And the Christmas party was really great because I work remotely most of the time, and I got to meet a lot of the team members that I'd only seen, through video. And that was really great because it was good to be able to connect with them. They have a Christmas party every year, and it's usually at a new place, a different venue. Our admin team went out and did a game show type theme thing where they incorporated like a Wheel of Fortune, Family Feud. So we had two sides and we got all dressed up. It was goofy and silly and fun. We work really hard at Revo, but we also try to have fun. I wasn't a tax person before I took this job. I'm more of a client relations. I've worked in libraries, museums, so I have a varied background. And I've worked with a lot of different people, a lot of different teams. Mike and Kevin in particular are very heartfelt. They do the best they can to support their team. It's been a godsend for me, and it's helped me out with my flexibility and schedule.
You work from home probably 3 days a week, 4 days a week in the summer.
Yeah.
And so same for me in the summer. I'm going to be in office a little bit more with this new kickoff of the commercial, so I'm there making sure everything's working. But I'm in office 2 to 3 days a week too. And we just require our current seniors who are up and running on our processes, hitting their goals, hitting their targets, they can be twice a week.
Yeah.
We're super flexible, but to start, it's like there is a mass difference of you being in office, bonding with your peers and
Yes.
teammates and getting to know us and getting to know, that's why we have lunches. And there's so much that's why holidays are done around food, like Christmas and Thanksgiving. It's like, what do you do with your family? Let's get around food. Let's sit around a table and get to know each other. And that's why our culture calls for that is let's just sit around. Let's just take a break. What's going on? And, just that developing that relationship, friendship.
And there's something magical about free food. And sitting over and enjoying free food and talking with
them.
each other. Free to them. You and I pay for it. But it's magic. It's true. Like if you sit down and someone's having or providing you a meal, you're able to build relationships.
You don't have to think about, you're not, what are we ordering? What am I doing for lunch? It's like 2 days a week, we got you.
Yes.
You just show up and eat and have fun. And we do that in tax season for dinners. In tax season, we even do 3 to 4 days sometimes just because tax season's longer hours. We want to also, the more decisions making we take off your plate administratively, the more clear you're able to think for your client too.
Which is another interesting point. Then I want to get into our whole staffing philosophy and why you actually joined us a long time ago. I can't. What year?
8 years, probably. It was like 2018.
17? It was
17,
before
18.
I had Eli, so it would have been 17, right? Well, I didn't have a baby when we didn't have a kid,
Yeah.
so 17 or 6, so long, almost 10 years maybe. But before we get to that, we have, and for a while this really bothered Kevin because he's our financial guy. He makes sure that we pay our bills and we have a budget and we're cash flowing. We have the highest administrative to tax professional count, I think, of any tax or CPA firm out there, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like
Easy.
super crazy.
Easy.
But that's because we've got tax professionals that are awesome with tax that shouldn't be spending time scanning documents or chasing down clients or, our admin team is busy as heck. It's not like they're sitting around twiddling their thumbs.
But get this, we have a project meeting every week. And our seniors come to that meeting because the seniors really hold the client book, right? And so the seniors are sitting there our admin team is asking the seniors, hey, what are you missing on this? What are you missing on this? And they're not governing you. What they're doing is saying, hey, if you're missing 5 items, send me those 5 items. It's off your plate. Admin is now asking the client on your behalf, hey, we need this, 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 and this. And they are going to stay on top of it because it's admin's job to make sure these projects are moving. Project management. We have a project manager who's her job is making sure you as a senior is supported in that you don't have to spend your time checking in on clients. Oh, I got to send, hey, do you have that W-2? It's just like, hey, Pippa, this is what I need from these 5 clients. Cool, I'll let you know when I get it. Yeah. And you're like, okay.
Every other firm I'd ever been at and that I hear about, that's the professional's job. That's the manager's job or the tax senior's job, or even in smaller firms, the tax partner's job. That doesn't fit with the way we envision our culture and keep our team happy. So, quick background story. Every firm I was at, the outside of the box part of my values clashed with the firms. But I had to I still had to navigate it to learn. And I learned a lot of good tax stuff from a lot of smart people. But every firm I was at, we had super high attrition because we were all salaried, right? And the way the firms made their profit most of the time is work the snot out of you during tax season because they're not paying you overtime.
That's margins.
You're billing hours, they're not paying you overtime. So you work in, it's not the same this year, but we're working 90, 100 hour. I think 118 hours one time at PwC during the tax season. And that was expected. That was the way you impress people.
If you take your salary divided by 118, how much?
You
were under minimum wage, probably.
I was making like $3 an hour, which sucked because as an intern, I was making $25 an hour. Plus in California, you get like double time on Sundays and time and a half.
Interns were making more than you?
Oh yeah, a lot more than me. I hated it. Like I thought I was there when I was finally promoted, made senior. I had a salary. I wasn't an intern anymore, and I was making like $1 an hour.
You're like, oh, salary sucks.
Yeah, but anyways, the attrition is uber high, and you see this at every firm. After tax season, people leave. And when they leave, it's not just like you're losing a colleague or a tax service provider for your clients. You're losing a lot of tribal knowledge. You're losing experience. You're losing someone that knows that system, that knows that culture, that knows the people, that have that is a go-to resource or knows how to go to the resources. You lose that person. And these people were leaving at these firms I was at for like a 5% or 8% raise. And you know why? Because that's the only way they get raises. And then our firms would go and replace them with someone new that couldn't hit the ground running, that couldn't add any additional capacity they were net negative capacity-wise for at least 6 months, if not a whole year. And our firms would pay more for those new people than they would pay the people who left. And my thought was like, well, why didn't you just pay them that much? And I would bring that up to the partners. And they would look at me and just laugh like, oh, you don't know. You're smart little young whippersnapper. You'll see. It's an experience thing. And then I started thinking, why are you working us so hard? Like when I went to my next firm here, a regional firm called Travis Wolf, we didn't have to work more than 70 or 80 hours a week at the worst. And that was a lot better. But that's still a lot, especially if someone wants to have a family. And especially when you think about it, if you're working 70 hours a week, those last 10, 15 hours you're working, your efficiency sucks.
Your mistakes, margin.
And you're miserable.
Errors.
So I thought, okay, and we still had the attrition. And granted, some of it was pay and a lot of it was overworking people. So I thought, why don't you just make sure you have additional capacity? Hire more people. And that will keep you and save you so much money in your attrition costs and having to rehire, and it'll help capacity. And another big part was we could never proactively tax plan with clients because we were always behind. We're always losing people. We never had enough capacity. So build excess capacity. And I used to preach that to my partners, my bosses everywhere, and they would just laugh at me. So when it was time to start our firm, back as a sole proprietorship, and I started hiring people, I came up with this beautiful idea. We're never gonna make people work more than 50 hours a week, and we're always gonna have additional capacity. I found out why those partners were laughing at me, because I couldn't get paid. You're working in those days, it was a commoditized, it's a commodity market, right? A tax return. People see tax returns, you go in HR Block, it's just getting a widget built. They're not gonna pay more than you can get it done somewhere else or much more. Yet, somehow I had to figure out and design, and thank God you joined because you helped me design it, a way where we could pay people enough, keep them from having to work more than 50 hours a week at the worst times, and most of the year, 40 hours a week, 35, 30 billable. And still cash flow and us get paid. And it took us a long time. We didn't start getting there. We didn't get there until
Probably 3-4 years ago.
Until you made partner and started running our finances, actually.
But it's when we look at we do a financial meeting and just how much overhead, how much we believe this is, we spend about 50% of our margin, of all of our profit,
or all our revenue
on staffing.
I think it was closer to 55.
Wages, health,
benefits,
401k match, dental, short-term, long-term disability, life insurance. All these are benefits that we provide our people, plus meals and PTO. We're shutting the firm down the most. I mean, you almost have over a month of
You start with over a month of time off, including holidays.
Yes, and this is legit time off where it's not like, hey, yeah, you can take time off. It's like, you take time off, you're off.
I remember at PwC we had unlimited time off. That was one of their big. I never could take time off. I never could. And then I remember at my next firms, they'd give you all this huge PTO time. They wouldn't let you carry forward too much every year, but you could never use it. You weren't allowed to take it. You had too much stuff to get done. So yeah,
that's where the overcapacity helps too, is because we have one of our seniors. He's in Europe for 2 weeks. Where does his work go? Well, he communicates with his clients, but we have capacity to where you can go out of town. It's not rocket science, but to your point, it's hard to bootstrap a business with that at the start. Without debt. So we've organically grown. Our firm is very healthy on the financial side because of your sacrifice at the beginning of this is.
Your sacrifice too.
We did it together, but you started this by leading by example of, I mean, your salary was like $60K, if not less. You lived on that.
When you joined, it was $24K.
You learned to live on very little to get us to where we are today, right?
Mm-hmm. And you took a big pay cut to come join.
And I took a pay cut to come work for you because I saw the vision and I saw your heart. I saw where this business could go. And I saw that many, many years ago, and it's holding true. The Lord's very faithful in that. But we still hold that motto today. It's like, we don't pay ourselves. We could go get a job at PricewaterhouseCoopers again and be a slave to the thing.
10x.
And make way more than what we're making today, but it's not the vision, it's not the mission.
Yeah.
But almost all of our revenue goes to our people, and most firms spend about 33% of their revenue on their people.
Or less.
If they can get by with 30%.
Here's a standard firm model. A third or less on your staff, a third or less on the overhead, and a third or more to the partners. To the owners.
And so half is going to our staff, and then we have overhead, marketing, and stuff like that. And then anything left over, Mike and I have stashed for this building. So we want to give our people we have like a really nice kitchen, a kitchen table, and like this is stuff that we want to invest in.
But we're also trying to attract more talent. That is the only thing that is slowing our growth, because we have the most incredible team right now, and we serve clients better.
Yes.
Don't get us wrong, we're not perfect. We keep making mistakes. I want to get perfect. We're better than most. Actually, we're probably better than all. But we need more people, and that's the only thing that's preventing us from growing faster and faster. And the reason is, it's not just growth that drives us. We have a mission to save the most amount of income taxes, of hard-earned money that people are just losing, getting stolen from them, in my opinion. That's changing their lives, and they don't have enough money to retire, or they can't retire as soon as they want, or they don't have financial freedom. They don't get to spend time with their families. Our culture is family first, or God first, family second. And we could talk about that if we have time. I know we're running late, running over, but it's working. Mm-hmm. It is absolutely working, but we need good people. So that's why we moved to Grapevine. I liked our Roanoke office. I like being out in the middle of nowhere, but we need to be central for a better talent pool.
Yeah, and we can pull that. And, going back to the family, it's like, when I had a baby, a year and a half ago, I worked from home for that first probably 3 months. I was at home the majority of the time helping, but my workload was shifting to night because I was helping it was a trying time in my life, but it was beautiful because I was like, man, I'm so thankful I get to have this option. Like,
no more babies, please go.
We had 2 other people have babies in our firm.
3. And what other firms our size have maternity leave and paternity, paid maternity and paid paternity?
Yeah. So I've never missed a softball game. I will never miss a baseball game, a soccer game, an event at church. I will never miss what's really important because of work, we structure your schedule. Now there's working hours, like you have to work during the day. Not many things are happening at 2 p.m. for my kids unless it's summer, but then I just plan ahead, right? But during the school, like I am not working nights from 7 to 9 or 5 to 9 or what you can. You're a professional adult. Manage your schedule, manage your family. That's the walk we're all working.
But then we do have some
right
team members that their children, they need to be there to pick them up from school or do something.
Yeah.
So they do take the afternoons off and they come in and make up their work in the evenings. And that's okay as long as you're serving your clients well.
Yep. If you're getting your work done, hitting all your goals and targets, I mean, yeah, we treat you, we do not big brother and ask where you've been. Just be professional, communicate with your team. Hey, I need to be out, whatever.
My name is Jason. I'm a senior tax associate at Revo. I would say Revo stands out to me because the prior firms I've worked at, they don't have the work-life balance here at Revo. They truly mean it when they say there's work-life balance. Multiple coworkers I have, they say the same thing. Just get your work done and you'll be rewarded for it. Like doctor's appointments. The first time I had a doctor's appointment, I put in PTO for it. And my manager's like, what are you doing? You don't need to do that. Just work around it.
Yeah.
And we, again, I just want to throw in more because I think your 50% was not including our new insurance coverage. So we've always had incredible insurance because we want our team to have the same stuff I want to have. Kevin would be okay without insurance. He doesn't like insurance. He's like, let's just do health share ministry. And I'm like, no, we got to have good insurance, the best insurance. But insurance rates just skyrocketed this past year. And
Went up 40% for us.
40%. Our insurance agent said, hey, it's happening to everyone. Most businesses, at that time, we were covering 60% of employees' insurance, right? And he said most businesses are just cutting back the employer contribution amount. We can't do that to our people. So what do? Kevin calls me out, he's like, let's increase it. I'm like, heck yeah, let's do it. So we increased, now we're covering 70% of everyone's insurance.
To
and
keep our employee
costs.
We want to keep our employee costs lower, and we bear the burden of that. And that's why we're good partners. It's like we are servant-minded first of our people. Like I think you and I do a really good job of thinking of other people. Like how would it feel to work for us? Because we're going to be held to account of how we treat our people.
Yes, we will.
And if I die and I stand before God and He's like, you gave too much to your employees, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's some
err on
altruism
that,
there, but it's also wise business. It's thinking outside of the box, right? Like if we treat our people right and we have the right people, which it's hard to find the right people.
Yes.
But once we have the right people, if we don't treat them right, they should go somewhere else. Everyone deserves to be treated well and reasonable.
We've even, a testimony, we had someone leave our firm and then come back 6 months. They're like, the grass I thought was greener because of these things that we needed in that season. And then they came back, they're like, no, I'm coming back. And so like it happens. Like recruiters are out there and money gets flown around. I mean, that's how people, like you mentioned in PwC, that's how you get pay raise. You job hop.
Well, we don't do that with our employees.
No, it's like I would rather pay, we pay above market, well above market for the line of work that we're in. So,
yes.
Because we do, every year we look at MAP studies, we look at CPA firms and we're probably 20, let's call it 20 employees. We're paying people like they're in a regional firm. Working the 70.
Better.
Working the 70,
We're in the
80.
top quartile of the huge firms.
Yes. And you're in a smaller
and you
firm
never work
environment.
more. You're never required to work more than 50 hours in a week during taxes.
And we're fighting to get that lower. No guarantees on that, but Mike and I always have conversation. We're like, man, how cool it'd be to have overtime of 45 hours.
Yes, no more than 45.
You work 1 hour extra.
No guarantees, but we're gonna try to get.
That's
there.
our heart. That's what we're going for.
And if you are not your typical accountant, if you are someone out there in the trenches doing tax work, and you know it can be done better. If you feel like if you have more time that you could focus on serving your clients and unpeeling that onion and figuring out ways to save them more money, or you're not getting support from your managers or your partners on helping your clients save more money, and you're just churning, you're building widgets to make your employers money and not serving your clients, please consider coming to us. Because if we get enough of you guys out there, then we can drop it to 45, and gals.
That's right.
Let's not forget the gals.
That's the majority of our team.
And they run our firm.
Yes.
Brooke is running the tax side of the firm. Pippa runs the office. And we just
show up.
We show up. Well, yeah.
I'm Brooke Anderson, and I'm a senior tax manager at Revo.
What is one of your favorite memories while you've been working at Revo?
My favorite experience at Revo has been watching my team grow. People who started in junior roles developed into strategic tax advisors for our clients. They came, straight out of college with the tax preparer mentality and really have been able to outgrow that and become strategic advisors and really help our clients to benefit on their taxes. I was definitely somebody that came into it with the mindset of I'm just a tax preparer, but being able to work with Mike and Kevin, they guided me on how to do that and how to be successful at it and how rewarding really can be to help our clients on a higher level than just preparing their tax returns. I've worked at Revo for almost 6 years now, so I definitely enjoy it. I feel like it's a much more supportive environment than a lot of places I've worked. At Revo, I feel like we work really well together and want everybody to succeed.
Well, yeah, thanks for joining. If this sounds interesting, go to revotaxpayer/careers. You'll see our open positions there. You can apply directly on our website and we'll have a conversation. But yeah, please like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time on the Hidden Money Podcast. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode. Revo Taxpayer Advocacy, LLC is not licensed or registered as a CPA firm with the Texas State Board of Public Accountancy. I'm a CPA, Kevin's a CPA. We have a lot of CPAs on staff that are licensed and held to the same standard. However, when we decided to be revolutionary and change our name to Revo Taxpayer Advocacy, the state board would not allow that and let us remain licensed. They say we have to have one of our names in the firm for us to be licensed as a firm, and guess what? It's not us that's important. It's revolutionizing the way you feel about taxes and saving you money. We are advocates for you, so we were willing to drop our firm license even though we're still individually licensed.